Okay, so ilan lang kayo? Good afternoon, everyone. You have only 10. Saan na iba? Okay. Okay, so hintayin natin konti yung iba. Then we will start our discussion for um, trends, networks, and critical thinking in a 21st century culture, no? And week 3 to 5. Okay. So wala na tayong madadagdag. Ito lang talaga kayo, no? Fumes. Okay, so let's start. I share my screen. Yo, may nadagdag pa sa English lah. Okay.
Yan, papasaan ako.
Okay, so just wait. Wait natin ng 2 minutes yung iba, okay? 2:05 we will start our class, okay?
Opo.
Okay, so let's start. O, sino yung nawala? May nag-connecting na isa. Okay. Oh, nagsasign up yung ano ko. Okay, so I share my screen. Okay, naririnig naman ako, di ba?
Opo.
Okay, so very good. Ah, okay, so our topic for today we will discuss is trends and critical thinking. Okay? Okay, so when we say trend, it is an any event or behavior that occurs and changes in a regular manner and is very likely to continue. A trend can happen in a small or large scale. Okay, so trend, no, para siyang gumawa ka ng ngayon and then kasunod na araw is dugtong, no? For example, in mathematical, we have one, two, consecutive. 1, 2, 4, no, di ba? And then 8, increasing ka, no? Increasing na consecutive, no? We have 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Anong kasunod ng 64 is 128, yung ganun. Okay? So, meron kayong graph na nakikita dito. So, it is the hour spent playing in the guitar, no? Nagpa-play ka ng guitar, no? So, okay. So, if you have a new hobby, no, that you're practicing regularly, you are starting in a observable trend in your personal behavior, no? Like, you're regularly practice playing the guitar, then the average amount of the time that you spend on it, okay, can define a trend, no? Kasi when you're a first time pa lang, so medyo mahaba-haba na, no? Pag natuto ka na, medyo natuto ka na konti, the next time, medyo mahaba na naman yung oras, no, na pag-spend mo ng time doon, no? Hanggang sa matuto ka na. Okay? Then, for example, if you're practice yung, naan mo na yung average na 1 hour every day, for the past year, no, magaling ka na, you're spending a few minutes more in it, no, kasi for example, mga kabarkada mo, nagkatuwaan kayo, or di ba, pag magaling ka na mag-guitar, di ba, minsan pag ikaw na mag-isa, wala kang ginagawa or naboboryo ka, yon, guitar ka lang, di mo na malaya na, uy, ang tagal ko na pala nag-ano dito, wala pa akong nagawang ganito, di ba? So, isa siya sa parang trend, no? Yung pagpi-play ng guitar o pagpa-practice pa lang. Okay? Kasi every day or every week, every month, so gano'n, increase yung oras mo pag ano diyan. Siyempre, pag beginner ka pa, hindi naman agad-agad, no? Sulitin mo yung isang oras, so yung kamay mo nun, puro string, bakat-bakat yung string nun. Okay? So, pakalyuhin mo muna, no? Hindi baka mamaya pagbakat-bakat, sugat-sugat na yun. Sakit pa naman, di ba? Yung mga nag-practice ng guitar dyan, masakit sa mga daliri, di ba? Okay? Then, why are trends important? Okay? So, first, it gives a better understanding of the world around us. Okay? And then, it helps build better social interactions. Okay? And then, it opens doors to new opportunities. Okay? So, para siyang ganun, no? Nag-open siya ng doors if close, no? Kasi sometimes bagsak ka, yon. The other day, gagawin mo yung mga positive ways, yon, ganun siya. Para nagtitrend din yon hanggang sa magiging successful ka kung ano mo yung dapat gawin mo. Okay? Then, number 4, it shows a new and better ways to do things. Okay? And then the last, it helps predict the future. So, yung trend, pwede pala siyang mag-predict ng future, no? For example, ito yung magiging ano ko, no? Trend mo yung sarili mo. Dapat, ganito, in the mga taong 2022, magiging ganito na ako, no? Kung matupad mo yun, so, na-predict mo yung future mo na ganito, na nagawa mo yung kinabukasan mo na yung mga plano mo sa buhay, your dream, okay? And trend analysis. Trend analysis is the practice of the collecting data with the goal of finding a pattern or a trend. Okay, so many different fields use trend analysis such as statistics, finance, advertising, and history. So, yun yung mga may mga trend na ginagamitan ng kind of analysis, no? Yung mga kind na solving, no? Mga logic, ganun. And then we have characteristics of a trend. First, we have trends are complete synthesis of information from a wide variety of fields. Okay, so yun yung mga characteristics. And then the second one, all trends use pattern identification and recognition to make predictions when talking about the future. Okay, so ano nga, if you want to successful, trend mo yon. So, need mo talaga ng mga patterns, mga recognition or mga kind of identification na magawa mo yun, no? Kailangan mo i-prove sa sarili mo na para ma-predict mo yun, no? Kahit hindi ganun sa dreams mo, basta malapit doon. Yan. Napipredict mo yung ganun. Okay? And then the trends use time frames to evaluate their evolution. So, pwede rin yung paggamit siya sa frames to evaluate the evolution. Okay? And then, how to spot a trend, no? How can you spot a trend? First, you have observed the present. Okay? Okay, so first, you need to take close look, no? Dapat titigan mo ng maigi. And then, at what is currently happening, are people acting a certain way? Okay, so in an event or event happening, no, yung mga kind of event na nakikita, okay, na napapanood mo sa kahit saan, no? For example, you have observed that a lot of people are into a social media and you want to know if this trend is rising or falling. So, may mga kailangan mong titingnan kung yun nga, tumataas ba sila or ano ba yung klaseng trend na ginawa nila. Okay? Then second is a study of the past. Okay, so after you establish the existence of a recent pattern, and you should know, examine historical data, no, para you can understand, no, kung ano yung nandun, ano yung sa past na nandun, ano yung mga nakaraan na nandun, no. You need to study that one para in case you can hindi mo siya makagilap, no, you can go in social media to do a research, no, to determine how popular it was, no, in the past few years, no, kung ano yung, for example, yung mga past president na ano yung mga kinontribute, ano yung mga ginawa nila uh, during their term, no, yung termino niya, kung ano yung mga may mabubuting idulot ba, may trend ba na nagko-connect siya. Okay, so ganun. Sa atin kasi ngayon for the present president, so pwede mo siyang gawa ng trend, no, bago siya umupo, and then ngayon kung ano yung result ng pag-upo niya. Okay, and then third is connect the dots. Okay, after you made the observation, okay, na-observe mo na lahat, na-gathered mo na yung data, what kind of gathered facts, and then no time to you can now analyze the information that you have to in order to come in order you have to come up in conclusion, no? For example, once you have collect sufficient data regarding the popularity of social media, yung mga ganon, in the past, in the present, you can then analyze this data in order to predict the trends in the future behavior. Okay, so ganon. After mo na ma-observe, after mo na ma-study, you can connect the dots na. Connect mo na yung na-obserbahan mo, connect mo na yung mga kind of data na nag-gather mo. Yan. You can predict na. Gawan mo na siya ng trend, no? Kung ano yung nandun. Okay, and then trend versus fad. Okay, when we say trend, it is a term gets used to a lot these days, no? Yung nagamit ngayong araw. And then a piece of clothing is said to be trendy if it is immensely popular, no? Kung gano'n siya ka-popular, no? A person is called a trendsetter. Okay, if his or her fashion sense get imitated by the masses. Okay, in social media, the term trending can be used to describe anything that is getting a lot of attention. Okay, so ganun na yung ano ng trend, no? Kahit saan mo na ngayon, may mga trend ka nakikita, no? Or napapansin lagi. How about fad? When we say fad, it is anything that is extremely popular for a short period of time. Then eventually disappears almost entirely, no? But this way, to identify fad is short live, no? Yung mga ganito, no? Yung mga short live lang, no? For example, in the figure number 1, we have this one. It is the Tamagotchi, no? Yung mga yun yung mga toys ng popular children toys when back in mid 90s, yung mga 90s na ano, break game, yan. Ba, uso pa yan dati na ganun. Ngayon, nasa app na natin eh. That time, 90s pa, ano pa lang, maganito siya, di ba? Meron siyang gadget talaga siya. But ngayon, I can install in Google app or yan, Play Store, nandun na siya kagad. Then next one is the color tie-dye shirt. No? And that's, popular din siya during 60s and early 70s. Okay, so nung elementary pa ako, yun, na ano ko siya, na nagawa namin to, no? Kumuha ka ng mga kind of mga colors, no? Mga pangkulay ng damit, inikot-ikot yung damit, no? Siguro naman na-experience nyo rin gumawa ng ganito, di ba? Na white t-shirt, ilalagay mo sa color, no? Sa pen, tapos print mo ulit hanggang magaganyan yung kakalabasan. Okay, and the third one is shawarma. It's a Middle Eastern delicacy that became an extremely popular snack in the Philippines during the late 1980s up to the early 90s. Okay? So hanggang ngayon nga, uso pa rin 'to eh, 'di ba? Yeah, when you go in this SM Center Point, 'yon. Meron doon Turks. Lagi ko kinakain doon Turks. Eh, favorite ko 'yun eh. So 'yun, popular pa rin siya hanggang ngayon naman kasi doon pila pa rin eh. And then the next one, the fourth figure or picture that you can see in the screen is, alam niyo na kaagad yan, no? Yung mga kind of mga gadget na ganyan. Then, yung mga nauso pa yan dati is yung Pokemon Go, no? Is the one of the biggest fads of the in 2016, no? Siya yung pinakamalaking fads, no? During nung Pokemon Go, yung nauso yun, no? Siya yung, kasi ang daming na-addict doon, di ba? Siya yung pinakamalaking fads in 2016. Okay? And then we proceed to critical thinking. Okay? So in critical thinking is a way of thinking that based on facts and evidence. Okay? So, kahit na pala matalino ka or gano'n ka mabilis mag-isip, meron pa ring ah, hindi mo siya nagamitan ng critical thinking, no? That's why we call what critical thinking is not, okay? So, thinking a lot, no? Thinking a lot sounds like a good thing, okay? So, 'di ba? Para siyang yun, parang genius yung taong yun, 'di ba? So, after all, people say that a practice makes perfect, okay? But thinking a lot does not automatically mean thinking critically. Okay? So, hindi lang pala porket sinabing thinking a lot, so genius na, matalino, ganon. Hindi pala ganon. So, need pa rin ng practice para ma-perfect. Okay? Kasi pag hindi mo siya thinking ano lang, yung ganun-ganun lang yung iniisip mo, tapos hindi mo hindi mo siya uh, pinactice ng maigi, hindi mo pa rin siya ginamitan ng critical thinking. Okay? And the second one is being open-minded. Okay? So, hindi pala siya kasama doon, sir. Yes, hindi siya kasama kasi make no mistakes, mindedness is a good trait to have. Okay? It allows you to see and understand things beyond your own personal bubble. Okay? So, ganun pala siya, no? Hindi pala siya kasama doon. Akala mo yun naman, ganun siya kasi if you have open-mindedness, no? You can alone, no? Yun din, hindi mo you cannot think in a critical thinking. You're not critical thinking pagdating sa ganun kasi it is an essential element of critical thinking but it's not only an element, no? Hindi siya only element lang, no? Having a welcoming attitude. Okay? Okay, and then towards the new facts and ideas can lead the knowledge put accepting ideas without questioning and analyzing leads of false knowledge. Kasi minsan, open-minded ka, yung pala mali. Kasi ganun. Hindi pala siya, porket open-minded ka, yun, naiintindihan mo. Yung pala, may mga false knowledge pa rin na pumapasok doon. Okay? Then, the next one is being smart. So, sir, hindi pala siya kasama yung being smart in critical thinking. Yes, hindi siya kasama. Kasama siya sa critical thinking is not. Okay? So, being smart is a good but it is not guarantee that you will always be right, no? Kasi hindi lahat ng matalino is laging tama. Hindi lahat ng tao is palaging tama. Lahat naman tayo is nagkakamali din, di ba? Yung may bang high IQ, no? High yung intelligence mo, and then you may even think critically about most topics, but there's still a very good chance that there is a topic in which you do not think critically. Okay? So, you're very smart. Taas nga yung IQ mo, but sometimes, no, nagkakamali ka rin, hindi mo maisip yung uh, critical na pag-iisip, no? May mga ganun pa ring bagay, no? Kasi hindi naman tayo perfect. And then, we're not always a perfect person, okay? And then the last one na hindi sa ginagamit ng critical thinking is the universal skepticism. Okay? So, skepticism is defined as an attitude of doubt, pagdududa, while doubt is disbelief can lead us to think critically. Okay? So, merely doubting everything is insight is not critical thinking. So, hindi siya kasama sa critical thinking. Okay? So, let's proceed to the critical thinking tools. So, na ba yung what are the 5W, no? So, yun yung what, who, where, when, why. And then, H is in how. Kaya, in short, para matandaan mo yung mga yan, you can memorize this one. 5W, 1H. Ibig sabihin, 5 na W questions and 1H na question. How? Um, for example, what happened? Okay? What is it? Who did it? Who did it happen to? Yung mga ganon. Mga ganong kind of question. And then, where did it happen? Where does it lead? When did it happen? No? Yung mga when, where, how, ganun. Why did it happen? Yung mga ganun lang, no? Kasi in critical thinking, kailangan mo malabas yung 5W, no? Kung paano siya nangyari? Ano nangyari? Bakit ganun? Saan nanggaling? Ba't siya nagkaganon? Di ba? Paano siya naging ganyan? No? How did it happen? Yan yun. In critical thinking, don't forget that 5W and 1H is always a tools. No? Yan yung ginagamit natin palagi para matawag na critical thinking. Kasi yung mga nabanggit natin is not, hindi niyo yung ginagamitan ng mga ganyan. No? Direct. Okay? Direct thinking lang kagad. Okay? Hindi gaya ng mga ginagamitan mo ng W, H, yan yung mga pinag-iisipan mo talaga. You're using your critical thinking. Okay? And then the Socratic method, it is first, you have a question. Okay? In the Socratic method naman, ask a question first, no? Because it begins by asking a question, no? That aims to create a hypothesis. Okay? Need mo ng question or yung iba, survey, no? Oh, ba't ka ganun? Ba't ka ganun? Kaya ganun, okay? So, naririnig ba si sir kasi may background? Okay? Naintindihan naman, di ba? Okay? So, ganun. Then the next one is a question that hypothesis. Okay? Once a hypothesis has been made, the next goal is to ask a question or give the statement to the test, refute or challenge the hypothesis. So, mga ganito. If yun, yung 5WH na yun, ay W and then 1H, pwede nyo magamit sa thesis yun. If gagawa kayo ng mga title, gagawa pa lang kayo ng title, ano yung paano, anong kind, no? So, dapat nandun. Paano siya? Ba't siya ganun? Ba't siya ganun? Kasi para pagdating sa defense, you can defense your title, no? In thesis, no? Ganun. Ano lang, ganun siya kasi sir. Ganun siya kasi nanggaling sir. Tapos naging ganun siya sir. Kaya ganun yung ginawa namin sir. Kaya ganun. Ganun lang. Kaya may idea na kayo ngayon kasi mayroon ng mga research yung subject, ba? Next year siguro meron na. Okay? So, ganun. Dapat wag niyong kalimutan yun kasi magagamit niyo yun. Okay? And then, the third one is come up with a new hypothesis. Okay? So, next, a new hypothesis will be create taking into account to the test, no? Your reputations, challenges that are previously made. Okay? Okay, so just wait. Tatandaan niyo yun ha. Joseph, pwede ka bang lumipat? Ang ingay dyan sa inyo. Okay. Oh, may nanonood ng TV. And then the next one is ignorance. Okay, so ignorance is also a possibility that they're Socratic method din siya because it ends with all parties accepting the to do not know, no? Hindi niya alam kung paano, di ba? This is called the Socratic ignorance or the awareness of the absence of knowledge, no? So, ignorance, kasama din siya ng Socratic method kasi hindi niya alam kung ba't yun to. Yung mga ganun, no? Sabihin nga yung iba yan, yung mga masasamang, mga tatalas ng dila eh. Galing bundok, no? Bundok, galing kang bundok. Di mo alam yan, galing ka bang bundok? Ganun. Yung mga talas ng dila ng mga millennials ngayon, okay? So, isipin natin ngayon pag may mga ganun, pwede mo siya sabihin, bilang pala siya sa Socratic method, no? Hindi masyadong masakit sa loob, no? Kasi once kasi na ganun, medyo napapahiya din yung iba eh, di ba? Offend, lalo na pag ano. Okay? Next one is the scientific method, no? In scientific method, we have an observation. Okay, so in observation, it all starts with an observation with an event during the phase. Important details should be remembered or better yet recorded. No? Kung if you're doing an observation, dapat kung hindi ka sure ah, sa utak mo na papasok lahat kasi marami-rami, you can yung iba nga pinipicturean, di ba? Yung iba kung video, nire-record, kaya ganon. So kasama sa observation yan if you're going to collecting a data, no? Especially if you are in kind of thesis talaga. Gamit na gamit to siya. Observation or kung ano yung klaseng thesis na ginawa nyo. Okay? And then the next one is a question. Question is the most time merely observing an event and can raise question. This will trigger your curiosity and make you want to find an answer. Kasi especially if may bitin ka pang ano, ba't siya ganun, di ba? Ba't siya ganun? Kaya sometimes, if may hindi ka naintindihan kay teacher, you can ask a question para maintindihan nyo kung bakit. So yan is a scientific method. Okay? So I think all of us may mga ganong laging dinadala kasi pag, "Uy sir, ba't siya naging ganun?" Especially we're in math, no? Yung mga mahilig sa math dyan, "Uy sir, bakit naging ganun siya kagad?" Ganun. Yung mga scientific method yan kasi mga mathematician yan, big sabihin na ganun. Okay? Then the next one is hypothesis. Hypothesis can define as an informed guess, no? Think and to answer the question based on the evidence you currently have, no? Kung ano yung purpose mo na hypothesis na hindi siya nag-give in a final answer, then in your question but no serve as a guide of next steps. Then remember to make hypothesis based on evidence. Do not let your personal beliefs or preferences influence you. No? Hindi ka magpapa-apekto kung may mga ganong nangyayari. Okay? And then the fourth one is experimentation. Okay, so during this phase, you must conduct experiments in order to prove or disprove your hypothesis, no? Kailangan mo i-prove na ganito yung nangyari, no? Ganito yun. Para i-consider that your valid and this result can be reproduced by your or sa iba pa, okay? And the last one is analysis. Once you have gathered enough information through experimentation, you can then proceed to studying or analyzing this information. No? In order to come up with a conclusion, your investigation is considered a success if you were able to come up with the evidence proves or disproves your hypothesis. So may kind of scientific na method na maganon. Okay? And then the importance of critical thinking. Okay, so we have intellectual independence. Okay, excuse, our Zoom meeting will end in 1 minute. Baka maputol, no? See, check. Okay, so this is the last part. Okay, hindi siya abot. Kasi mag-attendance pa ako, hindi siya abot. Okay? Connect na lang kayo after, no? Pag maputol, no? Kasi hindi pa ako mag-check ng attendance. I'll check your attendance in pagbalik nyo na, okay? Kasi hindi talaga siya kaya. Okay, so in intellectual independence, having a critical thinking skills makes you more capable to think yourself, no? And critical thinking allows you to analyze facts, no? Kasi your intellectual independence, it means you can think everywhere, no? Kahit anong klaseng ideas, no? In fact, events or encounter that decide that the best course of action without relying on other people such as the media authority figures. So, ganun na yung intellectual independence. Okay? And then the next one is self-awareness. Okay? So, in